Alright, it's Thursday, October 17th, 2019 at 9 p.m. Alright, let's take a look at some weather. Alright, we got Tropical Cyclone 16, or Potential Tropical Cyclone 16, sitting here in the Gulf of Mexico, headed towards the United States. Okay, maximum sustained winds of 35 knots or 40 miles per hour. Minimum central pressure of 1,005 millibars. Located at 23.3 north or 94.6 west. Movement northeast at 8 knots or 9 miles per hour. Formation chance through 48 hours, high at 90%. And formation chance through 5 days, high at 90%. Let's take a look at the track here. It is forecasted to be a storm as it approaches the Florida Panhandle, the Alabama area, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and then it's going to go out into the ocean on the other side of the United States in the Atlantic. Alright, so it's forecasted to be a storm as it approaches, and it turns into a depression later on Tuesday at 1 p.m. But it will be a storm throughout. At least that's what it's forecasted as, with maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. Movement northeast at 9 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the satellite images. This is the satellite images of Tropical Cyclone 16. Tropical Cyclone 16, yes. Alright, let's take a look at it. Alright. Look at the storm just bringing possibility of more development towards the middle of it as it approaches the Florida coastline, and the cloud coverage is going over Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, and parts of Georgia and Florida. A little bit coverage on the coast of Texas, the coastline of Texas, but it is definitely heading towards the Florida area. Alright, let's take a look at the reason why. You see the nor'easter that was happening over Massachusetts and the northeast. It has a tail. You see it curls like that. At the bottom, at the end of the tail, there's usually a lot of storms that happen at the end of curls like this. So at the end of curls, usually storms develop, and it kind of brings along storms. Alright, let's take a look at the Weather Channel and see what it has to say. Potential Tropical Cyclone 16 will bring rain, wind, storm surge, flooding to parts of the Gulf Coast, south, and warnings issued. It says potential Tropical Cyclone 16 is currently over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. Tropical storm watches and warnings have been posted for parts of the Gulf Coast. This possible Gulf system is forecast to move toward the northern Gulf Coast this weekend. Heavy rainfall is possible in parts of the southeast, plagued by a recent flash drought. This system may also produce some surge flooding along and to the east of its track. A tropical or subtropical storm, the potential tropical cyclone 16 by the National Hurricane Center, is likely to form in the Gulf of Mexico late Thursday and early Friday, and will bring soaking rain, winds, coastal flooding to parts of the southeast this weekend. Right now, a disturbance is centered over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. The system is gradually organizing and is expected to gain at least some tropical cyclone characteristics. Potential Tropical Cyclone 16 could be designated a tropical or subtropical depression or a storm once it has a complete counterclockwise surface circulation with organized thunderstorms nearby. If it becomes a tropical subtropical storm, it will be called Nestor. A tropical storm warning has been issued for parts of the northern Gulf Coast from the Mississippi-Alabama border to the Okeechobee River, Florida, from Grand Isle, Louisiana to the mouth of the Pearl River. A tropical storm warning means the tropical storm conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area within 36 hours. A tropical storm watch is in effect for the east of the Okeechobee River in Yankeetown, Florida. Tropical storm watches indicate that tropical storm conditions are possible within the watch are generally within 48 hours. So you see here from New Orleans, Mobile, Alabama, all the way to Tallahassee and Cedar Key, we have a tropical storm watch and tropical storm warning. It says a strong surge warning has also been issued for from Indian Pass, Florida to Clearwater Beach, Florida. A strong surge warning means that there's a high danger of life-threatening inundation from rising water moving inland from the coastline during the next 36 hours. Regardless of what meteorologists call it, this system is expected to move northeastward over the Gulf of Mexico and into the southeast relatively quickly. This system may produce much of its worst weather ahead on the right of its center and well outside the cone of uncertainty shown below. So right of its center, so pretty much the Florida coast panhandle and parts of the Gulf area here as it reaches the shoreline. The system may gradually strengthen as water temperatures remain unusually warm in the Gulf of Mexico, but increasing upper-level winds over the North Gulf of Mexico, which will help it move swiftly toward the northern Gulf Coast, should also produce wind shear, typically a strike against significant intensification of tropical cyclones. So there's a lot of wind shear happening. Says potential impacts. Wind, waves, and coastal flood surge impacts depend on the size and strength of the Gulf system, which remains uncertain given the system hasn't formed in the Gulf yet. Storm surge and coastal flooding. South to southwest winds ahead of the system blowing over the long stretch of the Gulf of Mexico may generate swells that may reach the northern and eastern Gulf coast as soon as Friday. These swells could generate high surf and rip currents and could persist through Saturday. Alright, so this is heading into the coast. It should start making effect on Friday, but people who are on boats in the Gulf vacationing, or if they're just, spending time recreation-wise, they should be aware of the system coming in. Alright, also, a bomb cyclone leaves hundreds of thousands without power in the northeast. Fire destroys 3 homes. Trees down, 500,000 people without power as bomb cyclone slams the northeast. A bomb cyclone slammed the northeast on Wednesday night, bringing power outages, downed trees, and injuring at least 1 person. Trees and power lines were downed in at least 7 states. Schools were closed in many areas. A man was injured when a tree fell on his home in Massachusetts. High winds helped spread a fire that destroyed 3 homes. More than 500,000 people were without power Thursday morning as a bomb cyclone brought rain and heavy winds to the northeast, knocking down trees and fueling a fire that destroyed 3 homes. A man was hurt when a tree fell on his home in Beverly, Massachusetts. He was taken to the hospital with non-threatening injuries. Officials in Suffolk County, New York, said a fire that destroyed 3 homes was spread by high winds, according to the Associated Press. The blaze broke out about 2 a.m. Thursday in the Fire Island hamlet of Ocean Bay Park. The National Weather Service said wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour were reported in the area. Schools were closed or delayed in dozens of locations in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. There were also widespread closures and delays in Connecticut. Nearly 220,000 homes and businesses were without power in Massachusetts as of 11 a.m., according to the Power Outage U.S. Some 220,000 outages were also reported in Maine. Power was also out across over large portions of Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Vermont. There were still more than 400,000 customers across the region without power Thursday evening. The storm also knocked out power from North Carolina to Ohio as it moved through overnight. Flights from Boston Logan Airport to New York's LaGuardia and John F. Kennedy airports were delayed up to 90 minutes, according to the FAA. News outlets in Boston reported that a hangar and an empty airplane were damaged by the winds at Logan Airport. And you see here the hangar images of the roof peeled off as the storms damaged it. And also here reports of the plane, the wind causing damage to the planes there. Alright, and the last article. Stormquakes are a real thing, scientists say. Extreme ocean storms can produce damaging waves above the water and seismic activity below. The seafloor shakes during hurricanes and nor'easters. The shaking was previously considered seismic background noise. Scientists say the phenomenon isn't dangerous. Scientists have discovered that the seafloor shakes during hurricanes and nor'easters with a rumbling as strong as a magnitude 3.5 earthquake. They've dubbed the phenomenon stormquakes. The scary sounding mashup detailed in research of Florida State University scientists published this week in the Journal of Geophysical Research Letters. The shaking of the seafloor during hurricanes and northeasters can last for days, according to the study. While fairly common, the quakes weren't noticed before because they were considered seismic background noise. A stormquake is more of an oddity than something that can hurt you because no one is standing on the seafloor during a hurricane, said Winu and Fan, a Florida State University seismologist who was the study's lead author. The combination of two frightening national phenomena might also bring to mind Sharknado, but stormquakes are real and not dangerous. This is the last thing you need to worry about, Fan told the Associated Press. Storms trigger giant waves in the sea, which cause another type of wave. These secondary waves then interact with the seafloor, but only in certain places, and that causes the shaking, Fan said. It only happens in places where there's a large continental shelf and shallow flatland. So that's kind of spooky to have quakes happening. It might be from the barometric pressure of the storms affecting the land. But that's pretty awesome and interesting. I just wanted to bring that up, that there's now stormquakes, and that's a real thing, scientists say. Alright guys, hit like and subscribe for more on this video, for more videos, and see you guys next time. God bless you guys. Oh, also remember, I have a sponsor, Dave's Empire 1981. Check out his link in the description below. Check out his shop. He's got some pretty cool art that he can do on some sneakers or hats for you. Alright guys, see you next time. God bless.